Hello and welcome back to another VOD review. We have the Atlanta Reign versus the Florida Mayhem, one of the more anticipated games coming into the open weekend. Spoilers, you have a couple of seconds to click out of this video if you don't want to be spoiled. Atlanta Reign shits the bed is moral of the story. The Florida Mayhem it's kind of like a series of two different gameplays, right? We have the Atlanta Reign, who look very good in the brawl. And they absolutely dominate on Icebolt. I'm actually really excited to looking at that. But the Florida Mayhem, when they are able to play this Winston Zaya double bubble style, Atlanta Reign just does not have an answer to it. They're honestly okay at the double bubble themselves, Atlanta. They just can't match up to a great team like the Florida Mayhem at this point. I'm hoping to see them adjust more, but we'll be able to look at it more in depth and go into more depth as we watch it. So let's just do that. Imagine tubing you. Yeah, welcome to the YouTube's chat. But yeah, I think there's a lot of people, including myself, that were very high on the Atlanta Reign coming into this season. I think they have really good talent, particularly in the DPS lineup. I think Edison, Pelican, Kai is like ridiculous in the grand scheme of things. I think that covers almost every base. Pelican was kind of underwhelming in the opening weekend. I'm hoping to see better things from him. But as I said, I don't think it was just one player. I think everyone really struggled. I did like the way Iris played, though. I think he proved to be an upgrade of a flex support from Dogman in previous seasons. But, you know, obviously it's just the first weekend. But as I said, the biggest issue with Atlanta right now is it doesn't feel like they have flexibility in the meta. They just look like they prepared to play Brawl. And then if they can't play Brawl, they just kind of lose. For Florida Mayhem, the addition of OGE and Slime was interesting for a lot of people. There were some question marks that go around that. OGE kind of pounded this weekend. So we started off with big boy OGE. He actually even took a shot at us on the desk saying that we don't know anything that we're talking about, which, you know, we predicted Atlanta and Mayhem kind of dicked on them. So I can't really clap back at that one. So you win this battle, OGE. We'll try again later. But yeah, BQB Yaki, apparently really still fucking good at the game. We didn't see any checkmate throughout the series, but OG on the Winston, OG on the Ryan, sad face. OG on the Winston, big smiley face. I just think if you're the Mayhem, you just stick to your guns and you just keep playing this double bubble style. We actually saw Florida Mayhem play... who did they play for their second match in the series in the weekend? They looked really good again. Florida played against... Somebody help me out here. They played Vancouver? Yeah, they played against Vancouver and, like, owned Vancouver as well. But they just look really good. I'm curious... Mayhem is like the anti of the Reign. I don't know if the Mayhem are going to be able to play Brawl at a really high level anytime soon, so the meta sort of suits them, and I think they just need to stick to their guns at that point. But let's get started. Start watching the match. OG's gonna fight you in a Dean's parking lot? Yeah, I dare him. I gotta watch someone because I'm not gonna be able to see anything. Let's watch OG. Oh, that's value if I've ever seen it. Okay. So Pelican kind of pounded in that first fight. So OG created a lot of space for the backline, but it feels like that front line just kind of got... their own backline kind of got owned. So big props to Pelican. Pelican Edison with like Echo Tracer is such a good combo. And that's sort of what makes me confused about this Atlanta Reign team is like they should theoretically be good in a dive meta. And it makes you wonder, did they just not practice enough? Does it go down to coaching? Where does the weakness lie? Because with their hero pools, the only people I think potentially who really struggle in a meta like this is like Gator and Hawk. Like they aren't known as much for their like Winston and Zaya. But even then, they're both great players. So I'm curious to see if that's just like a lack of practice and experience in this meta right now. Edison gets the kill into... Oh! What? Nice sleep by Iris onto Yaki as well. How is this fight turning around? A little bit over-aggressive from Gator, it seems like. But Pelican's doing a lot of work. Nice copy. Oh, rip. Oh, Gangnam Jin's pissed. Nice primal by Gator, assisted by Pelican. This is terrifying. The double Winston meta is coming back in full force. Now people know the pain that I had in 2016. With Kai Kai and Debet just like pushing me around. Welcome to my personal hell. Pelican's primals were a force. Pelican's just an incredible player. I think he kind of got caught in like May jail. And that's why we didn't really get as many great looks from him. We also saw a little bit of Tracer at certain times when they were playing like these like Wrecking Ball dive comps. But his Tracer got kind of owned. I think it is good, but he was just getting absolutely destroyed. Edison goes down. Oh, he flew back into that one. That wasn't great. Yaki Tracer kind of cracked. Dude, Yaki, it can't be understated how good Yaki is. And I think Yaki goes criminally underrated when we're talking about these incredible players that play like the Tracer, Echo, like Sombra type stuff. Because he is very good. And he is one of the better ones. But I also think Yaki is a prime reason of why Mayhem feels very pigeonholed at times with their rosters. And the compositions that they're playing. But his trace is just so good, you just like deal with that. It's kind of like the Shax effect, right? Where it's just so good that you just let it slide. I think Yaki BQB covers a lot of bases. I think there is weakness whenever like BQB can't play the hit scan. Like they can't play like Tracer Echo or something like that, or Tracer Sombra. Like I guess BQB does play Sombra, but like Tracer Echo, etc. Is he on? Yo, wait, what? Can you not see him there? Oh, Yaki's cheating. You could like sort of see him, but not great. I wonder if that's only on like higher settings that you see those boxes. Dude, Yaki gets Messiah again. Yaki's kind of cracked and jacked. Oh, that's a great grab. That's an even better sleep. And for that not to be woken up, they all die in that grab right here. If Gator doesn't get slept, he is nanoed and primaled standing in front of this grab. It's so sad to see. He's like just taking a rest in front of it. Great presence of mind from Mayhem to not wake that up as well. Oh my god, Pelican almost got booped into the pit. Just grabs going off everywhere, dude. What is happening? And that's why you don't play with everything on high. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you are a player who plays on all high settings, I 100% if you care about performance of your PC and just like getting the oh, Gator guys, nice save, and having like the most optimal situation, you should play on all those settings because certain like things like those boxes get keyed out and you can see more, but also your PC will run better. BQB gets, dude, BQB's just fucking, dude. Honestly, that wasn't even some crazy outplays. That was really just like really good individual plays. Like I think Gangnam Jin sleeps were pretty clutch. Yaki got a couple of really good sticks onto Masa, and then I think BQB was just on janitor duty, just like clicking on people as time goes on. So. This more to the left, I think. Alright. I had to take screenshots for work last month and put it to Ultra, and I never really... Yeah, Overwatch is actually a phenomenally beautiful game. It just doesn't run that well when you put it on full Ultra. And I think FPS is, like, the most important thing when you are... when you're playing Overwatch, just because you don't want to get that input lag. You want to be able to see it silky smooth. Hopefully 150 FPS minimum. But, you know, I understand that's unrealistic. Alright, what do we got? Oh, that's an enormous... Oh, actually, I thought that was an anti-nade. That's a healing nade by Iris. Gator gets punished off the bat again. Trying to take space. What do you guys think about this D.Va from Hawk instead of the Xayah? I feel like if you're going to play this double bubble, you need to play it. I really don't like the D.Va. I feel like you don't have anywhere near as... Like, the bubble is so important of keeping your Winston alive. The Gator just gets antied and dies, right? And, like, so if Hawk doesn't eat this nade, that you kind of just, like, lose. Especially on your Winston. The enemy team is running a McCree. You want a Xayah? Yeah, like... You want D.Va versus Ashe? I can see that. I can see that. If they're playing like Echo Ashe or something like that. Or like Ashe Tracer. I can see wanting more mobility and control from the D.Va. But I feel like if you're expecting to play this brawl style. We see Hawk actually switch over to the Xayah again. So. Oh. BQB is just causing so many problems for Atlanta. He just gets pick after pick after pick. Unless D.Va eats nade, they get... I wouldn't say they get no value, but I feel like the most effectiveness that you can get to justify why you're playing the D.Va has to come from when you are playing... has to come from, like, when you're playing D.Va and eating those nades. Otherwise, you have... Oh, Edison, please don't die again. Oh, Edison. Dude, Gangnam Jin sleeps have been good on this map so far. I like it more if they play Brig Zen than Brig Ana. Oh, yeah, yeah. But have it, yeah. It is nice having a D.Va to eat all the Ana stuff. It's just like if you don't get it. It's kind of like the same thing that we saw from the Shanghai Dragons yesterday when we were watching them on that Icon Vault. It's like, if you're going to play the D.Va, you need to be eating these nades. They can't consistently keep getting 3 or 4 hit purple nades. That needs to be on the D.Va. If that's going off, then your effectiveness is nowhere near as valuable as it needs to be. Like, they have to counter dive a primal from OG right here. There's another nice nade on the backline on Edison and Massar. Fortunately, they have the rally going, which should be able to fix some stuff. Nice play by Edison. Yo, Pelican's primals are kind of clean. Okay, I say that as he overshoots somebody. Was the copy on the Ana wanted? Well, it was Yaki that switched it to the Ana, right? Let's watch it back and we'll see. Oh no, absolutely not. He was definitely aiming at the Winston there. Yeah, he was definitely aiming at the Winston. Accidentally hit the Ana. Honestly, he got value out of both things. He just didn't get the nano. If he got the nano off, that would have been a pretty good one. Hey, Custa, congrats on the fantastic first weekend back on the desk. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. The boot push Ana in, yeah. That was like wildly unfortunate. Oh my god, dude, the left clicks from Echo are so dirty sometimes. This is wishful thinking from Yaki and Pelican. I'll kill you eventually. Let me reload 20 times. Yeah, exactly, sickly. Oh, nice. Nice little ultra. Oh, nice grab by Hawk. What? Poor Edison, man. He's been kind of unfortunate. Look at this. Come on, bro. He did get very close to the grab in like his defense, so it's not as crazy. But like, dude's just gets bopped. A little sus, y'all. 0.25 that a little bit more. Get him! Yaki! God damn it. That actually would have been somewhat important of a kill. Is it only me that feels OG isn't the greatest pickup for tank? Okay, so here's the concern, and I think it's legitimate. OG is such a up and down player. He has had some crazy matches, and I think this weekend is a prime example. OG played very, very well. But it also can't be overstated that OG, when he plays Winston, generally farms. He does have some feed potential if the game isn't going his way. But the problem comes with his other heroes, like his Orisa, his Reinhardt, all those kind of ones. He had a very good weekend, though. And you can't, like... We came in with doubts coming into this weekend, and that's why Mayhem wasn't as hyped up as a lot of people think they deserve. But I think it'll be interesting to see if OGE, like, changes and adapts the way he is playing. Now he's on a fully Korean team. Maybe he won't be a little bit of a feeder, you know? Like, as Zoe says. Time will tell. Only time will tell, and we'll see. But he had a great opening weekend, and you need to give him that. Until he does start feeding, you have to give him the props I think he deserves for now. Is the Eli Manning of Overwatch? I don't know who Eli Manning is. I think he's an NFL player, but yes. Is Winston... Yeah, Winston is considered his best hero. Will be a good year for him. Yeah, and I think it's not unreasonable to be optimistic about OGE. And I think Slime also looked very good. I did have a couple of question marks about Slime on the Brig. He's mainly known for his Lucio, but he looked pretty solid on the Brig, and I think his Lucio was just as good as ever. He had some pretty crazy plays. So, Slime's actually impressed me a lot more. Exceeded my expectations, I would say. Have you updated your YouTube bio? It says you're still an hour player for the LA Valiant. Really? Okay, well, I should change that. Thank you very much. After losing faith, the options were slim. Yeah, I think OG was definitely a gamble, but it'll be interesting to see if it pays off. All right, Yaki, let's see your mechanics. Not great. Oh. Echo mechanics are pretty clean, though. Alright, let's see what Pelican can do with his copy. This is pretty much all they got. Going back to the elevator, yeah. Alright. We got the Pelican into the Winston. Oh god, beaky beat. Alright. Pelican. Pelican. Let's go, baby. Yo, the double monkey. I'll never get tired of that. Yo, where did he go? Yo, Pelican's taking the 2v1 and living to tell the tale. Hello? Ow. He's dead. Never mind. Oh, nice sleep. Oh, this is when Iris pounded, yeah. Gets like a 3k. That was kind of sick.
Score 1-1.
Alright. His name is Pelican, not Pelican. God damn it, Patrick. We talked about this. I guess I'm blocking people's shield health. Do we really care about people's shield health? Not really. He's a really inconsistent quarterback, but he's led his team to winning 2 Super Bowls. Ah. I heard you say that. I didn't even need to look to see who said it. Yeah, if shield it looks cracky, then it's thing. So here we see Rain playing the Brawl and OG playing the Wrecking Ball. And they're playing this style with the Brig Zen. So we'll see how this goes for the Atlanta Reign. theoretically, Atlanta Reign should win this. I don't think the composition of Mayhem is very good against what Atlanta's playing. It feels like every time you slam in, they just have too much healing and you get frozen and die. Exactly like that. I think that was a great summary of why you can't really play this Wrecking Ball comp into what Atlanta Reign is doing. And their backline can't take enough space because they're playing Zen Brig. Their backline can't walk forward enough to get value because if they walk forward enough, they just get sped on by the Lucio and the Rhine and then they just die. So it sort of becomes this like massive issue. I'm surprised the Mayhem didn't switch off of the bat. Ball into May is just death, why people happy, yeah. Okay, so Atlanta needs to go. Okay, there's the call, right? Backline got a little too, was getting aggressive. They step up and they get the kill, right? That's how it's played. You're doing a good job. This is the moment. I think, like, Sideshow did a phenomenal job when casting this to highlight. This is actually the moment where, like, Atlanta Reign's, like, hopes and dreams kind of, like, began to crumble. That, like, that 3K is so insane. Their comp has no right of winning this fight. If they lose this fight, it goes to, like, Atlanta Reign goes to about 70-80% until, like, the next fight really starts popping off. But instead, what happens is Florida wins this fight for literally 0 ultimates. And that gives BQB a free switch. And yeah, it gets a little spicy from here. Because now all of a sudden, Atlanta have to engage and close the distance on a Hanzo and a Zen. With a Bowler just like gatekeeping that. And even if they do get on top of that Gangnam Jin, they already have the Transcendence. So on the chance that like Atlanta does actually get there, they're not going to get anything. So they use the beat, they close the distance once again, as I was saying. Even BQB dies. They grab. Mayo comes out, and the team just looks like slowly bleeding out at this point. It's just such a feels bad. They didn't even get the rally out, which is a problem as well, because Slime just didn't have it. And that sort of shows how shitty Brig is against this comp. We're like 110% into this this round, and Slime doesn't have ult yet. But Pulse is not an ult; it's a cooldown. Yeah, really do be like that. And you just see how careful Atlanta needs to be. We're moving around now. And OG, they don't have anyone punishing OG. OG's doing a phenomenal job of just being disruptive. Like, he doesn't need to kill anyone. He just needs to give the rest of the team space. Iris wasting his lamp there is a really big deal. Like, Iris uses his lamp under the pretense that he thinks someone got stuck. But because that lamp goes down, his front line is going to get bullied. He doesn't have it for himself right here as well. Also, BQB headshotting Edison there is just feels toxic. Like, Hanzo just feels so bad when you get headshot by a Hanzo arrow from across the map. And Yaki just deadlifting. Gator being staggered. And like, all of that goes back to the idea that Yaki hit a 3K pulse bomb on a fight that they shouldn't have won. I honestly don't think the Florida Mayhem's comp would win against the Reigns comp most of the time. But I think getting that much value out of that singular pulse bomb sort of teed them up for the rest of that map. And the rest of that round, which goes on to win that map. And I think Atlanta really needed to win that map. Like, let's go. If we go back and look at the series, it ends up being 3-1 to the Mayhem. If Atlanta wins that first map, they go on to Eichenwald, they play Brawl, and they win in the way that they're about to, this could have been a very different series. Like, we could have seen, like, Florida boom, Florida not feel like they need to change something. Florida, like, all those kind of things. Their backs are all of a sudden against the wall. Atlanta could win this 3-0, and this would be a very different weekend of, I think if Atlanta wins this 3-0, then they go on to beat Toronto probably pretty convincingly, that kind of stuff, right? It's a compounding effect of everything that happened throughout these series, and that's why Atlanta is being like, I think the story that Atlanta is massively overhyped is being blown out of proportion. I think Atlanta definitely isn't as good as we thought they were going to be, especially in this meta. But I don't think you can overstate that. A couple of things just really didn't go their way. And it was the same thing that happened against the match against Toronto. Where are my slippers over here? Where's my other slipper? I think they won a single fight based around teamwork. I think OG was doing a great job of creating teamwork and creating synergy for his team with his Wrecking Ball and creating that space, but... Here comes the runaway curse. It's been passed. Oh, no, no, no. Let's watch some Kai to begin with. Why that Pulse made Atlanta lose 2 matches? Yes, that is exactly what I said. Obviously, it's a stretch, and that could have easily just not happened, and then Atlanta loses both their matches anyway. I'm not saying that Atlanta just got unlucky into losing 2 matches because Yaki's a god, but you understand what I mean, right? It can have that like crazy effect, long-term effect. What would the best meta be for this meta? If the meta was like we thought, and this is why I was so high on Atlanta Reign. If this was the meta, right, where these 6 players could play these 6 heroes, Atlanta Reign would be really fucking good. And a lot of other teams, like the Mayhem, would have struggled, I think, in these situations because it's just. This is all their best heroes. I think Hawk's best hero is Diva. Gator's best hero is Ryan. Both of these players know how to play Brawl very, very well. Kai on McCree in a carry role. Iris's BAP is really, really good. And Masara and Lucio is also his best hero. Like, it literally feeds into everything that they already know how to play and all of their best individual heroes. And if you go back and watch the series in both of their series over the weekend, every single time that they ended up in a mirror match like this, Atlanta Reign won that map, and very convincingly as well. Like, they literally, every time we played this mirror, they win. But every time they played against the Winston, or they played Winston themselves, they lost. Why did KSP change his name to Kai? Because his first name is Kai anyway, and KSP's... It is an awkward name to say. Like, you don't want to be having to say KSP. Like, it is... It does not flow off the tongue. And we get to see here, as well, from the Florida Mayhem, they're one of the few teams that really liked playing in this Brawl setup, the Sigma instead of the Diva. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but the Sigma provides... You can see the way that Gargoyle is playing it, right? Gargoyle is trying to play... I think they were saying... Sideshow and that was saying is, you play the Sigma, the McCree, and the Baptiste... Actually, I thought it was usually the Lucio. Like, the Sigma, Lucio, and McCree sort of play, like, flanky. And then the... Oh, no. It is. I am right. The Sigma, McCree, Baptiste sort of play on one side of the angle. And then the Reinhardt, the Lucio, and the May play on another angle. And it creates this, like, duality effect where you're always shooting from 2 angles. And it forces the opposition to make a choice. And then you're able to get off angles and then shut down. And the Sigma really enables this because he has a ton of self-sustainability. He can use his shield. He has his grasp. It's very hard to isolate and kill a Sigma compared to a Diva who can be self-sustainable but doesn't really do much unless she goes in. So the Mayhem really liked using this. I don't know how I feel about it yet. Like, this is a prime example of why I don't really like it at times. And if you overextend a little bit, you can get sped on and you just get run over. Sometimes you just don't get the value that you need. Sometimes they just rush down the rest of your team and you're not there. You're too far away to help and stuff like that. So I think it has merit. I'm not 100% sold on it yet, though. The Florida Mayhem did make it work at certain times. Someone else really liked playing it a lot as well. Okay, so Florida used their window pretty poorly over committing on the wall. Oh yeah, look at actually, I remember this fire strike. Look at this fire strike that Gator hits here. This is actually kind of ridiculous. Ugh! it like goes through this mini crack in the wall at the exact moment that Gangnam Jin like peaks it. And because it goes through the window, it just one-shots Gangnam Jin. It's just such a feels bad moment. And like, Baptiste is probably one of the most important heroes in Brawl. Like, if your Baptiste dies first, that fight is probably over because you just don't have enough healing. Gargoyle getting run down in the backline again. Does KSA play Overwatch? KSA is an off-tank, yeah, he played for the Titans, but he didn't get picked up. I think the biggest issue for KSA is he's from... Where is he from? I want to say Saudi Arabia. And getting visas, I think for a Saudi Arabian player is very hard. It's just a really unfortunate reality that it's hard to integrate a player like that into the Overwatch League. Isn't he part American? I believe so, but I think he still lives in Saudi Arabia, right? Because that was the issue that he had with the thing is he was playing on stupidly high ping. I think why do I feel like he does have American citizenship? I remember that being like a rumor and a thing about him. So I don't know if like what the limitations for him is. Yaki gets isolated. OG's goes for a shadow on the May. And I think this like sort of shows you, like, you just watch the Mayhem play this Brawl. They just don't look practiced or concise on it. It feels like they're really just all over the place, just throwing shit out, like throwing out shatters, throwing out windows, throwing out fluxes, like right there. They don't, like, BQB's High Noon also wasn't that good. They're not coordinating anywhere near as well as the Atlanta Reign is using their abilities and their ultimates, while Florida's just sort of like pressing them, expecting it to be a win condition.
60 seconds remaining.
Why is he in and out? Because he's a Pharah one trick. As like, he would potentially end up like a Chipsa in a way where he could come in as like, in some world in which we end up in a purely Pharah meta, he'll get signed. But it's... if you're a team or you're a GM, do you really want to spend $50,000 minimum on a player so he can play it out? Like, so he can potentially come in for a Pharah meta? There's generally a lot of other flex DPS who can play Pharah at like a very good level. Obviously not as good as YZN. He probably is. I haven't played much against him, but from everything that I've heard from everybody, and like I've seen him play in EU ladder, like he probably is one of the best Pharahs in the world. It's just, it's hard to justify. Bar Mercy Metal, nerf McCree. You're going to need a nerf Echo as well. So, I don't know why Slime beats here. Is OG really low? Like, they haven't used Lamp yet. I don't know why this beat happened from Slime. They didn't utilize their cooldowns well enough. Hawk eating this mail by Yaki as well saved their lives a lot. It's a great eat, honestly. Let's go watch that again. Gets in at the right time. Like, Yaki was trying to throw it. Yaki did that almost perfectly, but Hawk did that even better. Just like getting that mass. That's such a big May ult eat. The beat did give them tempo, I will give them that, but it's a dangerous game to play, like, engaging with your beat like that. Because, I guess maybe they tracked that Rain didn't have anything, because they didn't really have much to slow down that, they only had a Diva Bomb, and that doesn't really stop them against the beat. Like, if they had their own, like, High Noon or their Mail, like, it would have been fine, but... Expensive tempo, yeah, exactly, like... Beat is a very important ultimate at negating a lot of things like shatters, mail, high noons, all that kind of stuff, and sort of like help you with the tempo. You generally don't want to blow that at the start of a fight. Kind of, it's a big gamble, but you know, it's a gamble that pays off for the Mayhem in this one. But it still sort of speaks to my point that I was saying earlier, where it doesn't feel like there's as much coordination going on with Mayhem and more just people just using ults to try and turn fights and win fights. Both May walls were actually quite bad. Whose High Noon is this? This is BQB's High Noon. Where is he? One second, let's have a look at this. It's a good High Noon. Good lamp by Iris. OG, I think, overextended here. He's overstepped his bounds. Like, to get value out of this high noon, he's stepped into a spot, but the problem with going here is he has nowhere to hide, right? So he can't run anymore. Forces the lamp. Shadow goes down because he has to drop his shield. And there it is. Just a little bit of an overstep by OG. Jeff, Pepe hands, feels bad, man. We'll miss you, Jeff. It's actually gonna be so weird not having Jeff in the Overwatch like community anymore.
Wobble wobble, motherfucker.
Thank you for the 17 months. Your next swing chip bet should involve surstreaming. Oh god, no. No. No bets with surstreaming. I wouldn't wish that on my mortal enemy. Yes, Sab also agrees. That's a great disengage. Like, and this sort of I think Gangnam Jin's windows and the way they've been using the windows just feel really bad, right? Like, let's go back and look at this again. They drop the wall and then the window comes down, which is great, but even better wall by Pelican to give Gator that space to get away. And then there's just another, that's an ult down, and Yaki gets picked. Happy 420, happy Ashento birthday, and also happy 420. Sherbets guy, thank you very much for the 2 months as well. Much love, much love. Thank you very much for all the subs, guys. I appreciate it. And this is sort of like, this sort of highlights, this is Atlanta Reign in their bread and butter moment, right? This is dominant. This map has not even been close, and it can't be overstated how, like, we need to remember this storyline as we go on, that Atlanta is very good in this situation. When they're able to play their way, play their style, like, Mayhem is the team that looks lost.
Wobble wobble, motherfucker.
What's Trace's primary job versus Brawl? To switch to a different hero. For the most part. You don't really do much against Brawl. As a Tracer. Especially if your own team is playing Brawl. There is a different situation where, like, we'll see it later actually. The Florida Mayhem, they play Winston dive. Like, they play a dive against the Brawl. And then if that's the Tracer you're playing, your job is to just be annoying. You need to be constantly in the backline pressuring their Baptiste. Always shooting the Baptiste, always applying pressure, always looking for really good sticks without dying. If you die, it's the worst thing that could possibly happen. The Winston needs to go frontline. As a Tracer, you don't want to go head on and try and kill tanks or DPS. You just want to be a nuisance.
30 seconds.
Yeon Bob, thank you for the 2 months. Happy 420. Hell yeah. And Aaron, 200210. Thank you very much for the fresh sub as well. Thank you very much for all the subs, guys. You guys are crazy. I love you all. Good window. Actually, not a great window. That was a bad window. I take it back. What the fuck, Iris? I like the tempo change by Pelican here. This is pretty smart. The Mayot only onto Yaki, not as nice. I think if he wanted to do that, he needs to throw, like, the Mayot here. But I guess also the Baptiste jumped on the high ground with the Lucio. But that was some pretty poor ultimate usage by Atlanta Reign right there. Just getting a little too antsy. And, like, here we go again of, like, talking about expensive fights. Like, yeah, they're probably going to win with the Diva Bomb and the beat. But, like, if I'm Kai here, I think I just counter ult if I'm the Reign. And then you just have an advantage. Like, I think when they threw these two ults, when they beat Diva Bomb, I think Masar beats and Kai high noons. And I think that's, like, the counter to what they do, right? Yeah, good beat by Masar. And there it is, right? Like, oh, I think the high noon was just a little late. That needed to come out earlier. That was an expensive fight for the Mayhem, though. And it almost very much didn't work, but fuck it. There they go. Yeah, all this series taught me is Yaki should never, in the history of the game, lock May. Yeah, and I think Yaki's May is definitely one of the weaknesses that Mayhem have. He just doesn't seem super comfortable on it. He doesn't seem to get big picks. His walls are okay. His mails are okay. Like, it's all just pretty compared to, like, the level that Mayhem usually plays. Like I don't even know what that is. Like, I love Yaki more than everyone else, but yeah, his May is There's a couple of players that are like that where it's like, hey, I think this play is incredible. Please don't play May though. Stop that. Wow, that's a good shatter by OGE. Bit of a Charlie Niner. Also kind of not really a Charlie Niner. Kai's on the high ground with a fucking window.
Score
Weird flex more than everyone else, yeah.
2-1.
He said on Twitter he hates May, yeah. And you can tell that. It's kind of like Sinatra last year. You could tell he didn't want to play May. You could tell he didn't practice May because he doesn't want to play it. And he just didn't look good on it. He'd rather go switch to Doomfist, which he was really good at, than like anything else. Has Yaki gotten one Blizzard off? I don't know if he's gotten a high value one. In his defense, either is Pelican though.
Initiating match.
They have another flex DPS who's on the bench. Yeah, I'm curious to know if we're going to see more of Checkmate in the future. He seems like a good player, but they do have a ton of synergy with BQB, Yaki, and the rest of the team, so.
5, 4, 3, 2.
We talked about Jeff earlier, guys. My guess is probably just a personal thing for Jeff, like he just wants to move on to a different project. I doubt it was a business decision. I don't see any world in which it would be better for Overwatch for Blizzard for Jeff to leave. But I think it's the perfect time for if Jeff was going to step down. I think this is the best time, right? Before Overwatch 2 really gains traction and in like pure like announcement form. And also after like, you know, no one's like, oh my god, Overwatch 1 is going to suffer because he's gone and stuff like that. So I think it's a good time to start transitioning other people in. Let's watch this again because this is painful to watch. So like Yaki's wall is like 3 seconds late, which is the first issue, right? Like it missed everybody. And as soon as that happens, the Rain get a free Rain thing. This is the wrong call as well. They went to go aggressive, not expecting Rain to go to the point. Once Rain's on the point, like all of a sudden Mayhem have their onus, right? They need to go. I don't know why they decide to go back around this way and not go this way. I don't understand it a whole lot. They sort of put themselves on a timer and OG just has to play too passive and then they just lose the fight. The worst thing about this as well is not only the idea that they lose the point, it's the fact that they lose the point and this card is already moving. They're gonna get it to the door before the fight even ends. And that's such a bad, like these fights, getting this from there to here gives the defensive team so much time to set up on the high ground because the offensive team can't do that. But because the gate is already open by the time that they're respawning, it creates this like different dynamic of how this fight's going to go. They're going to be rushing to get on the high ground, control the high ground, and then all of a sudden Atlanta's going to be exactly where they want to go, right? Like Kai's already in his perfect spot. He is where he wants to be. And now Mayhem have to drop into a trap. Drinking water? Always. Another bad window from Gangnam Jin. Wait, was that a shatter by OG as well? Sorry, let me see this. OG gets a... That's not a bad shatter. The window... actually, I guess this is kind of unfortunate. The cart kind of blocks the whole shatter. And man, we're gonna get it. I don't know why Atlanta Rain didn't commit a single ultimate to that fight. Like, Mayhem used 2 ults, and OG almost has another shatter. Like, he's at 60%, but Atlanta just didn't commit anything, which seems a little weird. Like, at least drop like a window or a shatter or something like that. Yaki played really good on 8. Yeah, his Tracer and his Echo actually pounded in this series for Yaki. Yeah, OG got another shatter. I actually think OG was trying to use the element of surprise of his... He was like, hey, I got my shatter again. He's not going to expect it. Mayhem's done the exact same thing they did on the first point. They've given Atlanta an open run to the objective. And I actually remember this happening in real time because I was like, dude, they can just run. And they do. Here's where it goes wrong. There's a miscommunication of which way they should go. And look at how tight this wall is. Look at how sad this is. Ah! if this wall doesn't go down and they don't get through here and it's big enough for Gator to step through, Mayhem's in such a bad position. They're at such a big ult disadvantage. And this was a little worrying for Rain, but this I don't know how this next series of events happens. So Gangnam Jin gets flank fan the hammered by Kai. And then they just start respawning. There is such a good presence of mind play by Pelican to be able to drop this mail. Look how good this mail it is. And it just creates this stagger of mayhem, right? Atlanta has the closest spawns, so they're going to be back faster. And Florida Mayhem just bleed out a little bit. Yeah, actually pulling off a decent wall. PogChamp. And yeah, there's no way Slime ever makes it to this. And there it is. Imagine if Mayhem had their own Blizzard, yeah. So, as I said, Atlanta reigns supreme. Pun intended. On Eichenwald when they play the Brawl. And I think if Atlanta played Mayhem on a different map pool, I think this could be a very different series. Like, if this map was King's Row, and then this map was... sorry, actually, I guess it has to be... Let's say this was Havana, and then this was Volskaya. It's like... Well, I don't really see many situations in which Florida is going to win this series. Like, Mayhem literally got the two perfect maps in these map types for them to be able to play their own style. Is Atlanta going to show up this year? According to this weekend, no. I think they have a lot of talent on their rosters, and I think they can pull themselves out of this. I'm curious to know how long Unter has been a part of the Atlanta Reign team, and like how long he's been coaching in the scrims. Because, you know, one of the biggest problems that we had with Atlanta Reign is that their coaching just isn't very good. But bringing in Unter literally single-handedly coached the Valiant last year as well. So he has a lot of experience working with, like, kind of on his own. So I'm excited to see what he can do for this team and sort of what knowledge he can provide for it as well. You really need a Copium emote? Alright, is it on BTTV? Copium. There you go. Hopium. Let's get some Hopium as well. It's all capitals. You'll probably have to restart your chat, but probably already talked about Jeff Lee. Yeah, we did just talk about it. I don't think it's as bad as everyone thinks. Obviously, it's gonna suck. Like, Jeff did a lot for the Overwatch community, and like he's been such a great, I guess, positive symbol over all these years that Overwatch has been out. But I don't think this is doomsday for Overwatch 2 or anything like that. I think it'll be fine. Here's Dad, yeah.
Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
So now we get to see the double bubble play out. Let's get some Gator Winston. Alright, punishes OGE off the bat. Love to see it. Nice die. That was actually a great nade by Iris. To have the answer, it just feels sad to see Papa Jeff leave. It's a bit different, yeah. I think that's the general feeling across the community. Why was OG alone to go shred? He wanted to hide in the top left and then like sort of drop down and flank, but Atlanta just sniffed that shit out and then just punished him for it. So we get to see Atlanta play this double bubble style. They really need to find a way to deal with Gargoyle. Like, Gargoyle should not be able to live up here permanently. I don't know how I feel about this Sombra. Like, if you're Sombra, what are you doing here? Like, what are you really adding to this composition? Nice play by Gator. I just don't think it's enough, actually. Like, what are you doing as a Sombra? Like, you're hacking the Winston, maybe the Tracer, but I feel like the Ashe is just going to get way more just, like, value over time. And you're just so dependent on getting good EMPs. I prefer Kai Ashe to challenge BKB. Yeah, but... Yeah, just, like, having a hit scan player in, I could see that. It just... Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this Sombra. It needs to get really good value out of these EMPs. And hey, if you even then that was just a single individual hack, but dude, that's actually crazy that the Gangnam Jin nano slime there to create so that slime lives. That's actually such a big heads up play. Yeah, Masar dies in rally is like the worst case scenario. And here we go back to is like, if you play this Sombra, I feel like you really lack damage. You just don't have that enough damage to really like push through. So if things start going against you, they get a good nano off, they apply a ton of pressure, like you don't have enough to close out a fight. That was kind of a bad rally by Slime. I don't think that was necessary at all. I think they were chilling. I'd rather an Edison Kai DPS lineup. I would prefer Kai Pelican, I think. But the problem with that is then they sort of like... Yeah, I think Kai Pelican for the most part, because Pelican can play Tracer as well. So... But I think if they really wanted to lean into Sombra... What does Edison play? Is Edison like a Tracer Sombra player? Right? Am I thinking of that right? Does he have hit scan under his belt? Oh, is he plays a little bit of Tracer over the weekend. Yeah, like I'm trying to think of what else Edison has played. Actually, you know what? Let's have a look at it. Let's go Stats Lab. '20 season, all apply. Oh shit, that's gonna take forever. No! Reset. Alright, we're going to the stats lab. Let's get into the lab. Hello. Alright, thank you. Team. Atlanta Rain. What can you play? Yes. Can I look at an individual player? Oh, here we go. And let's go 2020 and 2021. Because Edison only joined last year, right? Edison played last season. He played a little bit of Ashe, mainly Tracer, a little bit of Widow, Reaper, McCree, Echo, Ashe. He has hit scan, a little bit of Echo. I don't know if it's been good, but yeah, but primarily Tracer is what Edison will play. I really thought he played Sombra, but apparently not. So he's more of a hit scan player who plays Tracer. Who is the Sombra player then? Sharp? Yeah, Sharp played most of it. Saucy? But Saucy didn't play much, did he? Yeah, like that was a while ago. Oh, this is looking way back, right? Interesting. Edison has a pretty interesting hero pool, then. And this sort of like makes me think, like, unless you're really gonna play Tracer, like, unless you're sure you're gonna play Tracer, I think you just play Pelican. Because Edison, I don't think I'd ever want Edison to play hit scan over Kai. Like, Edison's hit scan was not memorable enough for me to remember that that's what he played, so... Had 7% played. Yeah, but on this, that's just over this weekend. Right? So the 7% that it said Sombra is probably from this map that we're watching right now. That's it. Because he's only been in the league, right, for this weekend.
A payload moving. Just not sure. Always leave yourself back.
Overpay, but the issue you need Pelican to, yeah, but the thing is Pelican's way more flexible is sort of what I'm saying, and that's what I'm saying is like I think I would like to see Edison play, like if they're gonna play like a map like Gibraltar where they're like we're gonna play double bubble for sure, we need someone to play the Tracer, I would prefer to have Edison in, but then maybe I'd rather have Kai in, like to be like, hey, we need you to play hit scan, so then they could play hit scan Tracer, and then they just have to play and never play Sombra. But I don't think you need a Sombra. Like I don't think this meta is conducive for a Sombra. Like what is Pelican doing in this oh my god, BQB knows. Pelican is literally just being annoying. He's not farming EMP. He's just, he can't kill anyone. There's no one valuable to hack. He's just trying to put the cart.
30 seconds.
We're almost out of time. No slacking now.
Edison's hearing ball is forced to sharp once Davey left. Yeah, they were all, Atlanta was a little all over the place last season. Hack the bob. Okay. Hack the pack. Hack anything.
Time to waste. Let's get this done.
Bro, the Pelicans playing Sombra like I play Tracer, where I'm just like, don't worry guys, I'm forcing the objective. But actually doing nothing.
Apagando las luces. Much better. ¿Qué onda? Ahorita regreso.
So, obviously, the Sombra play has a lot to be desired, like, but I don't think it's awful, but I think it's primarily an issue of the pick. Like, I just don't think the pick is good. Like, I don't know why he's playing Sombra. Like, as much as I'm like, he's doing nothing, and you look at this and you're like, he's doing nothing,
Score
he shouldn't be on Sombra.
0-0. Switching sides.
Because he can't go on the high ground and shoot people. He can't, he wants to try and get his EMP, but he can't really farm off of anybody because they're playing Winston Zaya. As soon as he comes out of stealth, he's going to be shot by BQB. Like, there isn't a win condition for him. Like, there isn't for anything for him to do. And the reason he looks lost is because he is lost because he doesn't know what to do. I think he needed to switch. Like, that is the, it's not, as, you don't need to think too much further than he was just needed to switch.
I need this later.
Ready for battle.
I watched Dallas vs. Glads yesterday. It is up on my YouTube. Actually, is it up on my YouTube? I think it's going to be up on my YouTube in an hour.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Get the invis spray balls for 2 seconds. Yeah, I don't know what he did when he was near that bob and he didn't hack the bob and then just like watched his team die as he stayed invisible. I don't know what that was from Pelican, but
Can take care of this quietly, is there?
it's super hard to play Sombra into double bubble. There's very few farming targets. I feel like a lot of people are used to playing against the Zen Brig Wrecking Ball, where Sombra does get a lot of value, like playing against that form of dive. And that's where this idea is coming from, but I think it's so bad against double bubble. I really do. Like, I think you're way better off just playing a hit scan.
Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
Oh god, what is this? There's actually no one to hack. Yeah, like look at who, like who's gonna hack? Like, he needs to try farming and not trying to individual hack people. He doesn't get anything from individual hacking people, right? Like,
Translocating.
Atlanta, we don't need coaches. In their defense, they picked up Unter, and that's sort of why I was talking about, like, Unter until like, I don't know how much
See you later.
of a fingerprint he's left on the team that we're watching right now, or if this is just stuff that they did on their own, and now he's joined and he's like, this is what they're gonna do. Who was the other person we watched recently? It's funny because we literally watched, yesterday we watched Jimmy have the exact same issue, playing Sombra, where when they were playing Winston, he was so useless. And it's really hard to get value against like this hit scan Winston, right?
He vuelto. Damn it.
All right, let me just. They were better than Toronto at Brawl, but Toronto was way better overall. I think, yeah, Atlanta was way better than Toronto at Brawl, but it's just the same issue that Toronto realized that they don't need to play Brawl. If they just play this Winston double bubble, they got a couple of really good maps for it, and they just if they just play their own game, then they can. Atlanta just doesn't really have a. It's not only the fact that. It's not only the fact that you can't play. It's not only the fact that they don't play double bubble that well. So that's what I'm trying to get to. Atlanta doesn't play double bubble. The biggest issue is that they don't play double bubble and they don't know how to beat it as Brawl against it. Like, if you're going to play Brawl on a good Brawl map, but someone's going to, like, let's use Anubis as an example. On Anubis, Brawl is really good, but they didn't know how to beat double bubble where they were holding really close when they were playing the Brawl. So. Alright, Gate is going in. Good juggle on the gargoyle, get him out of place. Sleep was also very good though. Grab's good on the gargoyle. Please kill gargoyle. Alright, thank you. Like, can you just imagine if they had Kai just sitting on the high ground as an Ash right now? Instead of Pelican on Sombra? Like, he finally gets his EMP, and $10 he's about to EMP a rally. He just EMPs during a rally. And it's like, yeah, that's great, but it's not going to close out the fight as much as you want it to. Like, it wasn't worth all the charge and playing a Sombra for that. Masad never there to boot back the monkey. I actually wonder. I feel like I haven't noticed that a ton.
60 seconds remaining.
Let's see. See what happens here. Masal looks like he's chilling next to Iris. They nano Gator. Hawk goes down. Grab's good. Just too good of a grab by Gargoyle. I honestly don't even think this was individual performances. Like, I really don't. I just think it comes down to I just don't like the Sombra pick. I don't think Sombra versus the Ashe is the play. Just feels like Pelican got no value out of any of his EMPs. Like, he got 3 EMPs and 2 of them they only got 2 kills out of 3 EMPs. And one of those was a solo EMP and the other one was almost a solo EMP. Like, right? Gator got deleted from the game, and that's the value of the Ashe, right? Is that if you overstep as a Winston against an Ashe, you just die. Like, if you get caught in the open and you've used your bubble and it breaks, you get punished. And I don't feel like that existed for OGE on the other side with the Sombra. Like, Pelican wasn't getting the individual hacks, didn't have anyone to farm off. I think if you run Sombra, you should replace the Tracer. Yeah, I think there are certain teams that would get more value out of playing like Ashe Sombra. And, like, I don't mind giving up the Tracer. I think Tracer also isn't phenomenal into that comp. Like, against, like, a Brig, Ana, Xayah, Winston. Like, it's kind of hard to get value, but I think it's more consistent than the Sombra. But if you have a really good Sombra, I can see it working parallel with a hit scan. But, yeah. Tracer Sombra ain't it. You just don't have the damage. Florida could do Sombra Tracer well. Yeah, because BQB Sombra's okay, but I think BQB's just better at Ashe. And as we said, I think Tracer Ashe is just better like they showed. Do you think Gator's a Rhyme 1 trick? I think Gator gets a hard... I don't think Gator's a great Winston, but I think he is a passable Winston in the Overwatch League. Like, I don't think you watch that match again of Gibraltar and be like, Gator is the problem. Like, I don't think his Winston was that bad. I think he was making some okay plays. I think he hasn't played on a team that's ever really been able to dive hyper effectively to support him. And I think that it's not a result of Gator being bad at Winston. It's like everyone else not being that comfortable. Pelican doesn't look that comfortable on Sombra. And then they have like this weird like situation where they weren't really diving and getting value out of the Sombra, so therefore it makes it harder for Edison to play Tracer. If Edison can't be effective on the Tracer, then the Winston gets harder to play. And the Zaire isn't really getting much done, right? It's a constant cycle of like misery. Alright, TP strat. Let's see what we got from BQB. Right to Pokpo? I think Pokpo is in contenders. Correct? Oh, nice Maywall. Maywall instantly destroys TPs.
My teleporter is online. Blocking them.
How did I never know that? I thought they went on top of the wall. I did not know that. Wow, that's very useful to know. I think it's because the Maywall was in... If it's during the cast, it breaks it. Sorry, Mayman. Because, yeah, I know you can leave it on a Maywall. I'm kind of confused on how that works. I'm curious. We might have to work that out. That's a great boot. That's a great boot by Masa. That isolates slime. Kills slime. Oh, they TP'd a point though. Alright, let's see the microwave. Gangnam Jin needed to move, kind of how BQB did. Pelican dying might hurt them. We'll see. Go to Sims Pop and show if it breaks. Oh, well, my thing is I know it'll break, right? The question becomes on why does it break? Does it break because the wall goes on top of it while it's deploying, or does it break because it hits the frame? Like the way it lifts goes into the wall, so therefore it just breaks? I don't really know. Alright, round 2 of BQB. Oh my god. The beam is just too strong. The wall is so good, dude. Sim's wall is actually so oppressive. Look at how good that is. Oh, if he didn't have to reload. Oh, nice boop again by Masar. Make sure he throws the turrets to the double to get that double damage on the turrets. That doesn't work, does it? That doesn't work. If you throw a turret through a window, it does double damage. No. I'm right? That seems broken. That sounds awesome, but like that doesn't sound like an interaction. No, it was a joke. Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to understand if I'm like... Yeah, I'm gonna start running some more Sim Baptiste if that's a thing. Can you imagine if the turrets that you deploy did double damage? Oh my god! Oh! Oh, I thought they actually got them. That was almost sick. Oh, nice. OG gets... how did he get bopped out of his shadow? I'm actually curious to see how that worked. Flashbang?
Hammer down!
Yo, Kai too strong. Good mail by Pelican. I don't really know. I think he baited to try and save Kai, but didn't work. Oh, nice shadow by Gator. Yeah, nice. They did get a tick from that, which kind of sucks, but they'll hold. You take those. Nerf Kai, dude. Kai's OP. You can't shut him down. Throw an Orisa shield through windows so I guess that. Can you imagine if it just doubled the value of everything that was ever thrown through? Just like not even like, just you shoot a shield through it, double shields, double sound barrier, double diva bomb. Imagine if you threw a diva bomb through a window and it like, bonk, just splits into 2 diva bombs. I would be okay with it. I'm gonna be honest. I could work with those kind of changes. I walked through a bat window and it doubled my SR. So you're 1000 SR now. Oh, that was mean, but it was too good. I'm sorry. I don't know what your SR is. You might that. I'm sorry. I just came to my mind. Had to do it. Oh, nice ult by Pelican again. That's another great. He has had very good May ults. Pelican's May, I have enjoyed. I have enjoyed Pelican May. Double lamp. Oh my god. Can you imagine if Lamp had like 500 health because you threw it through?
Pass into the ass.
Echo flies through window and simultaneously uses duplicate. You get some Back to the Future timing shit. You get twice the ULT generation in damage whilst in duplicate. As well, you get an identical twin.
Just what we need. More Echo. An Echo to have more abilities and more one-shot ability. Shatters through windows. Honestly, Atlanta's been really good in this setup. Like, it's the same idea of they ended up on double brawl. Both ended up on brawl, and it's just like Atlanta just looks so good. I feel like Atlanta just knows the tempo and knows the timing so well. They get so much more out of their abilities and ultimates than Mayhem. Like, Mayhem just seem to run into fights without too much of an idea, and Atlanta's always sort of pushing the tempo. Why don't they sub in J3? I'll ask in the next interview we do with them. That wall's bad. But I don't know if you can get a better wall than that, but yeah, I guess it saved them, so you take those. Atlanta's about to come up on so many ultimates. Oh, I actually remember this happening. Okay. I remember this happening in real time, so we're gonna watch this at half speed. Okay? So they don't have the window, so they don't have the main primary thing to stop them from getting to the second floor. Okay? As soon as they drop a window, Atlanta needs to do something. Like, I think they need to, like, throw a Diva Bomb. Like, he doesn't have any Matrix left. Throw a Diva Bomb. High noon. Beat into... I think they need to beat into them. Or they need to do something. If they just let them stay up here, and the Diva go to point, you are going to bleed out. Hawk literally loses his Diva Bomb for free because he can't sit in that corner. They all spend up, and they beat late. To the point that, look how much distance Mayhem has at this point. They beat late. Gator gets shattered by OG, which is a great idea. And then Gargoyle's just sitting on the point. They're just capping. All of a sudden, everybody panics. Starts rushing to the point. Isolates a bunch of people on the high ground. Yaki gets a good mail. And Kai's ult is just so late into this fight, right? Like, it could have been sick if Gargoyle was, like, out of mech. Or like didn't have any Matrix, but yeah. I think that I was just singing Atlanta's praises, but yeah, they definitely fucked up that individual fight. Are there any underrated heroes in this meta that teams should be playing instead of the meta? I don't think so. I think generally the meta gets pretty tested. The off tank is really the only thing which we see a ton of flexibility in. Maybe some of the flex DPS. Maybe in North America, I think Echo isn't given enough love. I think Echo is really strong and can be used very well. And we've seen it be used very well by a lot more in the East during Double Bubble.
Ready for battle.
Hanzo is also a good shout. I think Hanzo sort of changes it's a different setup than you expect to get from, it's a different look than the McCree because you have more damage, but it's more like RNG and you don't have as good a brawling potential. And we saw Hanzo just sort of, Happy Hanzo's highlight that. So Mayhem goes to the Winston, not Double Bubble, like Winston, Diva, Ashe, Echo. So they have a ton of damage. And OG Gargoyle are just going to try and like hold the space. OG has a tough situation ahead of him against Double Shield because Atlanta Rain also has an absurd amount of damage. That is a nasty nade by Gangnam Jin. How does that happen? Oh, that seems way too easy. Nice nade. Let's see what Kai can do, because he should have a bunch of space. Happy Hanzo made me feel ethereal for 5 minutes. Pure heroin. True. So Kai gets the opening pick. OG goes down trying to hold the space. And yeah, that's the ball game. And I actually really like this switch by Atlanta. I think it was great recognition. Oh, nice. I think it was great recognition. Oh, body shot bandit. I think it was great recognition of what Florida is playing and how they're going to win. I'm really interested to see why it doesn't work on the second point, because they do get absolutely obliterated.
I'm on fire. New defense point.
My bad. You're okay. Doesn't matter to me. Emote? Yeah, I don't know why there was an emote there.
I get the idea.
Skeet shooting Kovacs? Legitimately, that looked like Kai just like playing Kovacs. They needed apply more pressure while this is happening for the bomb. So they nano Winston. OG gets nanoed to create the space, then uses the primal. Like everything's going well for Atlanta, right? In this situation. How do they lose this?
Adaptive circuits engaged. Winston. Cease your resistance.
But why?
Winston. Cease your resistance.
That bongo was so bad. If that bongo was further back, they're in such a good position.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Sigma.
Okay, everything is still going well. That Bob was actually, he actually did so much work. And then Gangnam Jin gets him. Dude, Yaki. I honestly think so much of that comes down to that bongo being fucked up. They needed that ultimate so bad. That, and they played it so well for so long. And then at the last second, they kind of fuck it up. Masar switches for Brig. and Pelican switches to Tracer. And I really don't like either of these swaps. Why play Brig against what they're doing? Like, he might be able to bash, but you're better off having the damage boost for Kai and, like, the healing for Kai than... I think he's just going to be standing there behind the shields with everyone else not really doing much. And then Pelican, it's like, what's Pelican going to do as Tracer? Like, he's probably just going to get farmed. Like, as much as, like, there is potential for him to, like, get in the back line and apply a ton of pressure, I think he's probably just going to get shut down by shit like this, right? People don't let you just, like, exist in the back line. They might as well die. It feels like their tank line, they switched their support and a DPS, but they didn't switch their tank line at all. And I think that's a problem. Oh my god, they just can't kill the Mercy. Like, imagine, like, he's diving and he just gets fucked. Like, he's diving and he almost kills the Mercy, but then it's not enough. Alright, here we go. Good things are happening. Okay? But OG is living. Oh, Gangnam Jin on the flank! He's a fucking madman! The flanking Ana out of nowhere. Yeah, they don't have enough. And, like, here it becomes as well is, like, the double shield wants to hold on the high ground, and you generally want to do that with really long range characters, right? Where you can shoot at them and pick at them, and then you can have something drop. But neither of the tanks are going to want to drop, because as soon as they do, like, they lose the control. Like, I just don't think the Atlanta Reigns composition works. I feel like there's too many anti-synergies, and Florida Mayhem are just going to be able to stall them out indefinitely, right? Like, BQB can just sit down here permanently shooting at them, and they can't really kill him. Like, Kai's never really going to kill BQB here. Same with Gangnam Jin. Pelican can't dive these two on his own because he just doesn't win that fight. So he's not really doing anything, but then also no one else can deal with it. But then they also don't have enough damage to kill OG or Gargoyle. Like, they just drop. As soon as they get low, they just drop. Then they jump back up, apply pressure, do a ton of damage, drop down, get healed up. Actually, I want to watch this back. This is actually sick. Maybe Kree instead of the Tracer. Yeah, I think Hanzo would have worked as well. This is actually so sick. I thought this was so cool. Look at this. To me, that just feels like such a sick series of plays. Can Pelican Kree? I'm not 100% sure. Don't understand his insistence on playing Tracer. He did the same thing against Toronto, where I feel like they're just playing it as if they're playing a ranked game, and like Pelican's like, what can I carry on the most? And it's probably Tracer, but that just doesn't work against such a good team like the Florida Mayhem. Like, he's just going to get consistently shut down by everybody. So here comes that drop we were talking about. Like, once they drop to the ground and they have good damage, they're in a good spot. But then, yeah, like, all of a sudden Kai gets punished. Once Florida has these ultimates, it gets really hard for them to win. Is Yaki real? Triple shout out, multi-kill, Yaki God? Probably real, yeah. Dude, Yaki is just an absolute bonkers player. And you need to give him credit for that, right? What does Pelican actually play? He's flex DPS. Genji, Doomfist, Hanzo, Tracer. Big bug coming ahead. Oh, let's see. Alright, Kai gets Yaki, which is like one of the bigger picks, but yeah, Mercy just res again. Oh yeah, what? How does this even happen? I think this is what happens. Alright, I would also be a little upset about that one. Masai even has his shield up. That is you hate to see it right there. That's just bad RNG, yeah. Through a tiny crack, yeah, kills their entire team. Where's Jeff when you need him? He's gone forever.
30 seconds remaining.
Forever. I was about to call Jeff when then I got sad. I really like this aggression by the Florida Mayhem. Even if they lose this fight, if they can just trade even, they're in a good spot. And they can... Forces everyone else to run a point. Oh, actually, this is actually pretty sick if I remember correctly. Oh. You want to see something cool? Look at this. Ugh! Built different. Millisecond to go. So clean. He made it. Jumping off of this tree here is so hard to do. Those like trees and shit, just they're a nightmare to go up. Watch Gator Pov. Yeah, I actually do. I don't want to do Gator Daddy like that. Can you slow the touch in slow mo? Here we go, 50%. Like this touch onto this tree is so hard to do. And he does it so cleanly. It didn't amount to anything, but it was hella cool, and that's what matters. By a knee, not even close, never worried. And that's the ball game, folks. And this sort of goes back to my point about the Atlanta Reign, is I don't think you can watch this series and be like, hey, I think Atlanta don't have the individual skill to match up. I just think their picks were wrong, and that the way they were playing around certain things were just wrong. Sombra on Gibraltar doesn't... No, why? Like, Tracer Sombra just didn't work. Not even a little bit. They need a hit scan player. They have a great hit scan player. They really need to play it. And I actually really like their defense and their attack for Hanamura. Sorry, their attack on first point. I think they had a great idea. They just had no idea how to break it on second point. Like, they were just getting hard stuff. They tried to play the double shield for way too long. I think they needed to adapt, and they need to recognize those problems. So hopefully we see that adaptation from them future, because the exact same thing happens to them against the Toronto Defiant. They... on Anubis, they just have a Winston consistently getting nano, jumping in their face, applying a ton of pressure. They try and play this like comps, and they just can't break through. They just need to find a way and a solution to get through it. And if they can't beat it, they need to find a way how to play double bubble themselves and mirror it and apply pressure, because what they're doing right now isn't working, as we can tell. Play Gator McCree? Honestly, maybe. Did Atlanta get a new coach? Yes, they have Unter. Unter, who was the coach of the Valiant last year, like primary coach for the Valiant last year. He is now a coach there. It's their fourth coach. Oh yeah, I actually remember Brad got... I feel like it was in reaction to my tweet, my clip that ended up on Reddit about being like they only have 3 coaches. Apparently they have another coach, Atlanta Reign, who's called like a data analyst. And so I didn't think data analyst was a coach. Danny. I guess Danny is a coach. I don't really know what a data analyst coach does. It's just someone like... I don't know if I would count that as a coach. Is this someone who just has like created an algorithm, or they're like just a spreadsheet ledger? I don't really know. So I don't understand. This is why I don't really like commenting on coaches too much, because I just don't understand what's going on in their thing. Like, he could easily just be a coach that's just a data analyst. But yeah. Yeah, that's it. Maybe he's more, like, he could easily be more involved than I realize he is, right? And that's sort of why I don't know. I honestly just don't know. Custa coach when? Nah, man. It's easier to flame coaches from a distance than actually be a coach. Don't know the hour's back, and you might not be doing Tier Tuesday as much, but if you do, Team CC and O2 Blast was a great match. I don't know if I'm going to be doing Tier Tuesdays for a little bit. Maybe if we have a bad weekend of games or there's something else interesting, more interesting to watch. But now that hour's back, I'd rather just watch our stuff. But anyway, let me finish this match. Yeah, I think the Florida Mayhem, they look good. Yeah, I don't think you can have too much complaints about them. Obviously, their brawl has a lot to be desired, but it looks fixable. I think they just need to understand how to use their abilities, use their ultimates, all that good stuff. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, tell me what games you want to watch. Let me know what you agree with, what you disagree with in chat and in the comments. Much love. Peace out. I'll miss you, Jeff.